What's up guys, I am back again for another Zoids model kits video. So today I wanted to go over a couple of the old Hasbro Zoids kits that I have completed to kind of bring it up to speed with where I'm going with, before I start building some more of the high-end master models. I kind of wanted to go over some of my existing collection, talk about some older Zoids that have a lot of history behind them. So today we're going to be going over the Hasbro releases of the Red Horn and Dibison respectfully. And I want to start out with the Red Horn, so we're going to move the Dibison out of the way for now, and we're going to talk about this guy. So there's a lot to know about the Red Horn. First of all, to take it way back to 1983, the Red Horn is actually one of the original Zoids that came out in the 1983 line, and it was one of the bigger, more sought-after Zoids for its time, and that model kit is actually the exact same model kit as what we have right here. It has not changed at all in however many years, and it's had several re-releases. So in the 80s UK comic series that went with Zoids, he was known as Red Horn the Terrible, and he was the leader of the mutant Red Zoid army. There's another YouTuber who did some videos on some classic 80s Zoids that explains that pretty well, and talks about what a prolific character the Red Horn was. So definitely check out that guy's videos. I'll cite his channel if I can. And that version of the model had more of a bright red color scheme, where this is more of a darker red, or, oops, his tail fell off, more of a darker red or maroon color. And the translucency was a little bit different. See, this one has translucent green, that one had about like translucent orange or something like that. And some of the silver parts were a little bit more silver. Other than that, it was exactly the same. It just had a different paint scheme. And this guy was first released in the US as sort of a knockoff toy for Zoids called Robo-Strucks, or whatever they were called. And he was released under a different name. He was released under the name Brutox, and was a blue and teal colored model. But other than that, it was exactly the same toy, just recolored, re-released under a different name. And so we got him again in 1999 with the Takara Tomy release that tied in with the anime and the manga for Chaotic Century. And that is the version we have right here. This is the Hasbro release. I got this guy for Christmas of 2002. I remember it very vividly. I do not have his original box, but I'm pretty certain I have his original manual somewhere. He is motorized, although his batteries are not in because I didn't want them to corrode over time, and I was very smart about that, I suppose. Couple of things that are wrong with my particular kit, I'll go ahead and say, is there's a particular piece that goes right here that attaches to the motorized bits. And this cannon actually up here on the side would normally fit onto that piece sort of at an angle like that, and it would rotate with the motorized feature, so you could have that at an angle. That's how it's actually supposed to look, but I lost that piece when I was originally building it, and I've not had it ever since. And in hindsight, I definitely regret that, because that does impact being able to match the original look of the character and of the model. I didn't originally really care for the Red Horn in terms of the story, but I definitely like it a lot more now. If we open up the cockpit, we see again the translucent eyes right here, and you see the blue Android pilot right there. There's another Android pilot up here in this green translucent cockpit next to the main cannon, and there's also a third one that goes in this cockpit on the tail section. I've taken him out and put him somewhere else because this section likes to drag the ground and it comes off very easily, so I've been kind of careful about that. I didn't want to lose that guy. But overall, it is a very nice model kit. If you guys have the opportunity to get your hands on it, definitely go for it. The Hasbro one and the Takara Tomy one released in 1999 are probably the easiest to come by. The 1983 version is very sought after, I'm sure. There actually is a Kotobukiya high-end master model version of the Red Horn as well. Now, we got several variants of the Red Horn as well. The 1999 version of Zoids that spawned the anime and the manga and all that saw the release of the Dark Horn, which was a black version, which had different weapons available for it. And there's, Gatling units, beam launchers, all the different weapons that I demonstrated in Zoids Battle Legends and Zoids Versus 3. And the Darkhorn became very powerful, or very popular. And there was also a green variant, the Greenhorn, that was released, very obscure, but it's also available. It's also playable in Zoids Battle Legends. So in terms of the anime and the story, what role the Red Horn plays, the Red Horn was used by the Dibison Empire in the comics and the Gylos Empire in the anime as sort of a medium to heavy artillery Zoid. They were very tough, kind of slow. They were a bit more mobile than the Iron Kong, but they were definitely like a heavy armor artillery sort of Zoid. So we saw in Chaotic Century the Red Horn. What were their names? Rosso and Viola. Rosso had a Red Horn. It went up against von Schildliger and lost. And then we don't really see many other Red Horns after. We mostly see Dark Horns on the side of the Gylos Empire, but it is basically a staple Zoid for their empire. In Zoids Versus 3, the Let's Play, I did make sure to get a Red Horn as part of my team, so I could show it off, just sort of out of appreciation for the nostalgia and sentimentality I have towards this model. Tried to make sure I dusted him off and everything before I brought him on camera, so some pieces might be a little bit loose. But he was very successful in Zoids Versus 3. And in Zoids Assault, I really like the design they went with the Red Horn, because, of course, the downside is it's not red because of the way the colors are in Zoids Assault, where everything is very drab and not very detailed. But they have like these big armor plates across the front that make it look, this whole dinosaur-style face is that much more prominent, and they have all these armor plates on the front that really make it look like a tank, like it's meant to deflect damage, and it definitely does. The Red Horns are very difficult to take out in Zoids Assault. So I think that's it for the Red Horn. I'm going to be moving on to the Dibison now. So set that guy off to the side. I need to dust off the Dibison as well. I haven't really gotten around to doing that. So the Dibison, as far as I know, was first introduced in the 1999 line. I don't think he was in the 80s line. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I never actually had this guy as a kid. I got this guy a year ago at Anime Weekend Atlanta during the Super Happy Fun sale, where I got quite a few Zoids, actually. In the dealer's room is where I bought my HMM Shadow Fox that I haven't built yet. But I also got several Zoids that a guy was selling at the Super Happy Fun sale, which is basically an anime yard sale. He was selling them complete, already built, but with their boxes and manuals, and he was selling them for dirt cheap too. And you better believe, when I saw this guy going into the sale to set up his table, I flipped out and lost it. I was like, I have got to get in there and get me some of those Zoids. So, because I never really some of these I never had the opportunity to have as a kid. So the Dibison was one of the ones I was very sought after looking for, and I was very grateful I was able to acquire him for very cheap. The guy built it very well. The build quality is very stable and sturdy. He is also motorized, but the batteries are also not inside of him for the same reason. I'd highly recommend this kit. He's very nice, very stable. I really do like a lot of the details on him. It just incredibly detailed model. The black and the black and the gray and the green look very good. He is missing one or two little pieces though. Like he's missing one of these little rubber caps somewhere on him. I can't remember exactly where, but I saw it recently and I was a little bit like, I'm not crazy about that. But yeah, everything else has held up remarkably well over time with this guy. I'm going to make sure the horns are very stable. So he has, if you open up the cockpit this way, you can see the gray Android pilot in there. Got the bronze or the amber colored eyes there. All the artillery cannons do move, as I showed off before, which is very, very cool. And then up here in the artillery section, there's another cockpit that opens up to reveal another Android pilot. So the Dibison is definitely the Helic Republic rival to the Red Horn. It's another heavy artillery Zoid, slow-moving, lots of firepower. In terms of the anime, the Dibison was not introduced until Season 2, I guess you could say Season 2, Guardian Force Fighters, where Thomas Schubaltz, Carl Schubaltz's brother, had one, and he fought alongside Von and the Blade Liger. And the D-Bison was very effective in that season. Played a very different role than the the Blade Liger, and obviously, as you can if you couldn't tell by the design and the name, it's a buffalo or bison type Zoid, and overall it does look really, really cool. In New Century Zero, however, Lena starts out the series with a D-Bison, and she's completely awful with it. And it was actually quite a surprise when we first started the series to see just how terrible she was with the D-Bison, considering its reputation and how effective it was in the previous series. To see her just completely botch using the D-Bison, and then had to move on to eventually get that gun sniper she had. And she still didn't even use the gun sniper as intended. She equipped that Lena special weapon rack on it and essentially just went to town. And that was, it's whatever. But that was, the D-Bison definitely got the shaft in New Century Zero. I'm not a big of a fan of that. I more so prefer its interpretation in Chaotic Century. And as far as I know, there is in terms of the model kit, there's not that many variants of the D-Bison, not that many alternate colors. As far as I know, there also is a high-end master model D-Bison as well, which is also very nice. But this is one of the ones that I can proudly say I would like to display alongside the high-end master models. I'm not crazy about upgrading to the high-end master model D-Bison like I would be for things like the Blade Liger and the Lightning Sykes that are my absolute favorite. I didn't really utilize the D-Bison all that much in Zoids Battle Legends, but in Zoids Versus 3, because homing attacks are more powerful, the D-Bison is a little bit better because its cannons home in on enemies. And in Zoids Assault, you have a D-Bison as part of Mace Squad, and the D-Bison can be equipped with a cannon-type weapon, which is pretty effective early on in the game. I do highly recommend taking advantage of your D-Bison in that game, although not having significant range is definitely, or not having significant movement is a pretty big detriment to the D-Bison in that game. Also, having this entire cannon section removed, and having the horns trimmed down and everything, with another cannon weapon put up here, just makes it almost indistinguishable as a D-Bison. The Zoids and Zoids Assault are really ugly for that reason. So, finally, I kind of want to talk about, I didn't mention this before, but one thing I really like about the Zoids I got from that gentleman at the Super Happy Fun sale is he didn't really put any stickers on them. He left the stickers off. They may even still be on the sticker sheets in the box, for all I know, but I did put the stickers on the Red Horn, and some of them stayed better than others. You can see some of these look pretty good, but some of them I did not apply very well at all. They are still on there. They just look ugly over time when, I could have trimmed the corners or things like that. It's one thing I really like about the new Bandai Star Wars model kits we're getting is they have a water-based and adhesive sticker sheet. They have two different ones, so it's really nice that they give you the option there. With these guys, they didn't really get that option. So I got a couple other Zoids from that guy. I got the Dark Spiner and the Killer Dome. I got them as sort of like a little combo. I got this D-Bison, and I got a Attack Cat as well. So I will be showing off those guys in their own videos pretty soon. I'll probably do the Attack Cat with some other small Zoids in my collection, and then I may do the Dark Spiner as its own video. We'll see about that. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for supporting the Zoids fandom and the Zoids community. And if you guys have any trivia or any other comments about these model kits, be sure to let me know. I'd be happy to hear from you guys and hear some objective critique and criticism. And I'd love to discuss Zoids with you guys if you guys are fans. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time.